So, all right, guys, we got to get this one right. On three, we're going to say, welcome back to Extraordinary Thoughts Put On Your Mind. 1, 2, 3.
Welcome back to Minds.
And we back.
That'll work right there.
Yeah.
And we back. And we
Yeah.
back. And we back. And we
We did our
back. And
best.
we
Y'all did y'all best. And that's all that matters.
Now, before we get started with this episode, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like this episode, share this podcast, and if you can, do me a favor, head on down to the review section and leave an honest review, because this podcast was dedicated to helping us become a better version of ourselves. And I don't know what that version is, but I know that just like we need a little bit more money, just like we need a little bit more sleep, just like we need a little bit more of anything in life, we deserve to be a little better than what we are right now. What's going on, everybody? It's that ordinary podcaster with the extraordinary thoughts that tells you to stop being great and be extraordinary. I'm your host, Demetrius Thickpen, also known as Meech Speaks, and welcome back to another episode of Extraordinary Thoughts for the Ordinary Mind. So back again for another Friday episode. And, you know, before we even get started, I really want to just say, and I want to clear my spirit. I really want to clear my spirit on the podcast. Don't get comfortable with this. You know what I mean? Like, don't get comfortable with me doing Friday episodes. Now, if you have been listening to me, I'm talking about like from the very beginning, you would know that I started off doing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday episodes. I started off doing Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. And I think it lasted for, I want to say like 6 months. I was doing that consistently, 3 episodes a week. And I realized that I couldn't do it. You know what I mean? Like, I mentally just couldn't do it. You know, my life outside of podcasting didn't allow it. Like, if I was full-time podcasting, I can assure you I could probably get in the booth and do this shit every single day. But my life outside of podcasting wouldn't allow it. So I couldn't be consistent with that. Then I moved to Mondays and Fridays. And that was the baseline. You know, let me rephrase. That was the norm for a while. And once again, my life just wouldn't allow me to do 2 episodes a week. And when I stepped away from doing 2 episodes a week, it hurt me. It really hurt my feelings to do that. And the reason why it hurt, because I felt like I was betraying my podcast. I was betraying the listeners. You know what I mean? Like, I really felt like I wasn't showing up in the way that I was supposed to show up for people that were actually expecting me to be there. And I bring that up because although I took everybody else into consideration, I didn't really take myself into consideration. I did not take my mental state into consideration. I didn't take my work life into consideration. I did not take life in general into consideration. So as I'm doing these Friday episodes, I'm doing them. I'm hesitant as I do them. I am, because I don't want to stop and not be consistent. But at the exact same time, I have to be human. I have to be human. And when I tell you, like, being human, like, one thing that I want people to understand is that being human is not dropping the standard for yourself. It's not. Being human is allowing yourself to make mistakes. Being human, let me phrase that. Being human is being comfortable with making mistakes. Being human is being comfortable with with enjoying your life and not just living it. And I say enjoying your life because we tend to just live it. You know what I mean? Like, we wake up and by the time we go to sleep, it's the weekend. And yeah, obviously, you know, there's days in between that, but we on grind mode so much that it just feels like as if like the days have blurred and you don't really see the days until you get the weekend. And it doesn't help that we live right now we're in this mindset as a society that, you know, you got to grind it out. You feel me? Why you ain't got multiple streams of revenue? What about generational wealth? Hey, man, fine then, man. Go to sleep. Be happy with being broke. Why you ain't got a product? Why you ain't got a website? Why you ain't got, you know? And I'm like, God damn, am I selling drugs or am I just like, you know, I thought I created like a side hustle. You feel me? Like I thought I had a hobby. Am I selling drugs? Let me know. Let me know and I'll act accordingly. You feel me? But that's how it feels. That's really how it feels. And I get the mindset. You know what I mean? Like, I get the mindset where it's like, you can fire your job. Do you want to work at a job for X amount of years just to live only X amount of X amount of years alive? Do you want to, only live off of 401k? Do you want to, give 100% to a job that don't give 100% back to? I completely understand. I completely understand all of these things. Trust me. But at the exact same time, I'm not happy. The fuck? Like, I'm not happy. Like I done turned my hobby into a job. I'm not happy. You feel me? I'm not enjoying my life. I'm not being human. I'm not being human. Well, as I was getting ready to do this episode, right? Like, there was a couple of questions I had to ask myself before I actually started recording. And the questions I'm asking myself, I really want you to ask yourself too. You feel me? I really want you to ask yourself these questions, because these questions right here, right? It'll let you know if you're being human. It'll really let you know if you're being human. And the first question that I asked was, why am I so hard on myself? Why am I so hard on myself? Now, before you fill in the gap, right? Like, before you fill in the blank of, because I got goals, because of this, because of that, peel back the layer, because you in your goal now. You are doing the goal that you had set forth. You're on that path. But when you make mistakes, why are you so hard on yourself? And it's so easy to blur that line, because you're like, I expect so much of myself. I know better. I gotta be, and the reality is that we're hard on ourselves because we expect the plan to go. We expect the plan to go flawlessly. How we view the plan in our head, how we wrote it down and everything, it's not the same when it's being done in a practical sense. Like, when it goes live, like the plan, when it goes live, it's not the same as it was written down. It is not the same as we rehearsed it. It's not. Like, it's similar, yes. Do we rehearse to make sure that shit goes accordingly? Do we plan to make sure that shit goes accordingly? It's better to have a plan than no plan at all. I completely understand that, but you're beating yourself up over a plan that's probably new and is finally being acted upon, and you're saying to yourself, like, God damn, every single time that you fuck up. But the reality is that you gotta be human. You gotta be human, and you gotta understand that perfection isn't even in the contract. It's not. You gotta be human and understand that there is going to be mistakes to be made. You got to be human to understand that, that you don't run like a fucking machine, bro. Like, you don't run like a machine. That you're gonna get tired. That you're gonna need a day off. That you're gonna need a moment to yourself to get yourself back together, to recharge. I'm just saying. My next question, and I think this is more of a personal question to myself, but if it does apply, please go ahead and just ask yourself this question. But why is it that during the off season, I'm happy? Why is it that only on the off season I'm happy? I had to ask myself that. During the off season, I feel better. You know what I mean? I'm doing extra things. I'm enjoying life. But when the on season comes, like, I'm not doing that no more. I'm grinding again. And yes, I get it. Like, at a first glance, like, the first thing at the very top is because, well, it's the on season. You know what I mean? Like, it's the on season. Of course you ain't gonna be able to enjoy things. Of course that. You got work to do. We got grunt, we on the mission. Bro, why I can't enjoy the weekends, man? Why is it that when I come home, I'm not happy? Being human, right? Being human is a 24-hour thing. And in order to meet our goals, like we switch over to being machines during our work days. Yeah, I get that. But when the machine turns off, like when the day is over with, why are you not happy? Why are you carrying that shit home? Why is it that on the weekends you sit in the house and you soak or you prepare for the Monday to come when it's fucking Friday? It's Friday, and once again, I want everybody to understand. I ain't trying to deter you away from your goals. I just want you to be able to live your goals when they finally be able to flourish. That's it. I want you to be able to enjoy them. I ain't trying to deter you away from them. I just want you to be able to enjoy them. Yes, does the off season allow a lot of time to be able to relax? It does. But you also have to be able to make time during the on season to recharge. Even if that's at the end of the workday, even if that's during your chow, even if that's during the weekend. You feel me? Like you gotta be able to make time so you can enjoy your life. You gotta make time for happiness. You have to be able to make time for happiness. The next two questions kind of like they flow together. And it's why do I take failure so hard? And the question after that was, why do I feel like I'm under so much pressure? And I feel like the second question answered the first one. I take failure hard because I feel like I'm under pressure. I'm under pressure because I take failure real hard. And I bring that part up right there is because it definitely did sound like a conundrum, but you are going to fail. That's not me being a pessimist. That's not me being negative. That's not me looking at the glass halfway full. It's me being a realist. It's me accepting the fact that I am human. It's me accepting the fact that I am not perfected. You are going to fail. Point blank, period. Will you fail today? No. Will you fail tomorrow? No. To be honest with you, you actually fail every single day because you're not perfect every single day. You may fall short of it. You do. But when you fail and it's something that you notice, right? Are you looking at the failure as a lesson? Are you looking at that L as a lesson? Or are you looking at that L as a loss? When you look at it as a lesson, right? And I know this is easier said than done. This shit's easier. I'm going to tell you right now. One thing I've learned about podcasts, especially about subjects like this, is easier said than done. Like, it's easy to say this shit. It's hard to put this shit in practice. Let me rephrase that. It's hard to be in this while it's happening. You can say all the time, like, hey, man, every failure is a lesson. Every loss is a lesson. You never take a L. Bro, I'm experiencing that shit. So once again, y'all know I ain't talking from my high horse when I say this. I flew in on Experience Airlines. I flew in. And it took me after experiencing everything. Like once the failure dissipated, once those emotions went away, once I finally was able to just like come back and I finally realized I was like this, like, why am I taking failure so hard? Why am I so hard on myself? Like, fuck the standard. Why am I so hard on myself? Before I can even receive any criticism, why am I so hard? I did everything that I was supposed to do. Did it go accordingly? Yeah. Were there some hiccups? Yeah. So why am I beating myself up so much though? To be human is to understand that there is going to be mistakes. There's going to be bumps along the road. Ain't no plan just run 100% smoothly. Now that I've asked myself those questions, I had to find ways to remind myself that I'm being human. You know what I mean? Like I had to create like a couple of things that would keep me human. And the first one that I created was, or let me rephrase that, the first one that I looked up was being compassionate with yourself. And just like what I've been harping on throughout this episode is that you're going to fail. You're going to fail. There's going to be bumps in the road. But it's about being compassionate with yourself. Parents, we understand this all too well. Like, we're compassionate with our kids. We understand that our kids are going to fuck up. And why do you think we understand that our kids are going to fuck up? Because we know that they're kids. You feel me? We have an understanding that they're kids. Kids make mistakes. We're very compassionate with other people. You know what I mean? Like when other people fuck up, like we're very compassionate. But when we fuck up, we're not compassionate with ourselves. We're not. And the reality is that you deserve that exact same compassion that you give to everyone else. You do. I'm not saying don't hold yourself accountable, but at the exact same time, you don't hold that shit over everybody else's head. You feel me? Like you ain't holding that shit over everybody else's head. You ain't being petty with them. So why the hell do you be petty with yourself? So if we gonna be human, let's be human to ourselves first. We're great humans to everybody else, but let's be humans to ourselves. Next is, what does my social life consist of? And now this may sound like a question, but one thing that I had to ask myself is that I'm not fucking Batman where I need to be in a cave all day. You know, I know like the other weeks I sounded like Batman, but I'm not Batman. I don't need to be in a cave for weeks at a time. What does my social life consist of? You feel me? Like outside of work, what are my hobbies? You know, when's the last time I've gotten dressed up? When's the last time I've gotten a real fucking haircut? When's the last time I've taken myself out to a real place, not some random area that's like 5 minutes outside of my job? When's the last time I've done these things? I can't stress this enough because being human, we're social creatures. And I'm not saying surround yourself around a bunch of fake motherfuckers, but at the exact same time, what I am saying is get yourself out of the house. Get yourself out of the working mindset. I am saying, you know, have a social life outside of your job because you need it. You need it because you don't need to be thinking about your job 24/7. You don't need to be thinking about a tasker 24/7. And this just doesn't even apply to just a job. This applies to whatever grind your ass has been consistently pushing towards, and you have forgotten that you are human. Have a social life. Having a social life allows you to recharge your battery. It brings a certain level of happiness into your life. And it goes into my last one. It allows you to enjoy your life. That's what it does. It allows you to enjoy your life. One thing that we don't tend to do a lot of is enjoy life. We don't get a lot of time on this earth, but for some reason we spend most of it working. We don't get a lot of time on this earth, but we spend a lot of it being compassionate to other people except for ourselves. We don't get a lot of time on this earth, but for some reason, we ain't living the way that we want to live. We ain't feeling the way that we want to live. We ain't enjoying it the way that we want to enjoy it because we're constantly working towards a goal. And although I'm telling you right now, don't take your foot off your goals. But at the exact same time, put your foot on your life. Put your foot on your life. When everything is all said and done, and I'm talking about when the smoke is cleared, right? Are you going to be able to say like, damn, man, I enjoyed my life? Or are you going to say, now I can enjoy my life? Because if you're going to say, now I can enjoy my life, I can tell you right now, man, you need to get out of that mentality. You got to get out of that mentality. I was clapping my hands. I hope anybody heard that. But you got to get out of that mentality. Because if you're working towards this idea that now I can enjoy my life, what the fuck are you going to do when you drop dead? What the fuck are you going to do when you drop dead? A good example of this is there's this movie on Netflix, and I think it's called I Care a Lot, right? And for those who have ever seen it, it's about this lady, and she like finesses like old people into like these old folks' homes. I hate her. I cannot stand her. But that movie taught like this big lesson at the very end. And I'm going to just go ahead and spoil it for anybody that ain't seen it. I apologize. I really hate when people do that, but I'm so sorry. Hey, this is the part in the episode you could probably turn off, though. But at the end of the movie, right, this lady, she fulfills all her goals. I'm talking about like she ends up on the Forbes. She's getting interviews. She's enjoying her life, right? Like she's literally, let me rephrase that. She has met all of her goals, right? And now she's about to start enjoying her life. And as soon as she starts to enjoy her life, she gets shot. Gets shot right in the heart. And that brought a it brought a certain level of perspective back to me. And it was, if I don't start enjoying my life now, what am I going to do when I can't? What am I going to do when the moment that I say like, hey, I'm finally going to get a chance to enjoy my life and I lose it? I can't take the money with me. I can't take the assets with me. I'm coming in and I'm going out the same way I came in, with nothing. So with that being said, man, like I dropped this episode on Friday because, and I want people to understand this, that there is definitely a science when it comes down to podcasting. There is a science. Monday episodes they're geared towards meeting an objective. You know what I mean? Like it's giving you the tools to jumpstart the week. It's giving you those tools that's really gonna get you through the week. Wednesday episodes, like when somebody drops a Wednesday episode, it's that episode. It's kind of lighthearted, but it's also like a recharging episode, and it's supposed to get you over the hump. You know what I mean? Friday episodes. When I drop a Friday episode, I want to drop it. I drop it on Friday because there's going to be some stuff that I need you to do during the weekend. Friday episodes are a little bit more lighthearted too. And the reason why is because it's at the end of the week. We're going into the weekend. The episode is going to have a little homework to it, because essentially I want you to be able to apply what you just heard. So just like what I just mentioned, for this Friday episode, I want you to enjoy your life. I want you to enjoy your life. If you a parent, either get a babysitter, you feel me, and enjoy your life, or take your kids out and enjoy life with them. If you're married, take your spouse out. If you're single, hey, go ahead and live it up. Live it up. Enjoy your life. Go to a day party. You feel me? Drink some mimosas, Casamigos, or some shit like that. But enjoy life this weekend. And just like that, another extraordinary thought left this ordinary mind. I hope you enjoyed this episode half as much as I enjoyed making it. Stay tuned every Monday as we bring you another episode. And lastly, don't forget to like this podcast, subscribe to this podcast, and share this podcast, because this podcast was dedicated to helping you become a better version of yourself. And I don't know who needs to hear that, but just like we need more sleep, just like we need more money, we deserve to be a better version of ourselves. Stay hungry, stay motivated. I'm out.